At dawn the next day, Leonardo and Jose Manuel begin to prune with leaves from the same oaks. At the base of the coal bunker, they form a kind of ring that will serve to hold the straw and soil. To secure the twig to the stacked firewood, Leonardo drives a series of stakes around the plant ring. Leonardo then spreads a layer of cereal straw over the entire surface, so that the soil that will cover the charcoal pit does not get into the wood. To cover the charcoal kiln, Leonardo uses fine soil from the surrounding area, ensuring it doesn't contain any stones. With the help of Jose Manuel, he gradually covers the charcoal kiln with a thin layer of soil that will retain the fire and allow him to lead it at his will through the interior. Finally, before lighting it, he smooths the entire surface with a scraper. With the first light of dawn, Leonardo ignites the charcoal kiln by throwing embers onto the top of the wood pile. He then leaves Jose Manuel alone to ensure that the fire burns the stacked wood. During this waiting time, this young charcoal maker covers the logs he has stacked with soil so he can easily access the top of the kiln. This is called burrow. The burrow is used to climb to the top. Once the charcoal kiln is finished, it is removed. This is more convenient than a ladder, which can move. This always worked. The day is not favorable for firing. Rain threatens, but the process has already started and cannot be stopped. In the early hours, Jose Manuel has to feed the fire until the charcoal kiln is well set. Well, I'm poking it, so the fire settles and starts burning, and the bottom begins to burn, so the fire gets inside. Now I add a little more wood for later. The fire is taking longer than usual to ignite the charcoal kiln because there is a lot of moisture in the air. No, it's not going to go out, but that's not ideal. It's not ideal because if it goes out, that's bad luck. Wind is the worst thing. And there's wet soil. When the charcoal kiln is burning well, Leonardo covers the opening with straw and soil to keep the fire inside. For now, it's already lit. Nothing more needs to be done but to attend to it. When it breaks, it is covered and that's it. There is no need to do, we don't have to do anything else. The fire takes a long time to reach the bottom. The fire takes at least 7, 8 days or more. The charcoal maker makes some vents at the base and others at the height of the fire so that it spreads slowly inside and the charcoal kiln can breathe. If it couldn't breathe, a well-lit charcoal kiln would explode due to the accumulated gases. From now on, the entire firing process will depend not only on favorable weather, but also on the charcoal maker's ability to control the fire. Well, it's ready now. Yes, until the afternoon, quite late when the sun sets. For the maintenance of the charcoal kiln, it will only be necessary to wait until it needs more wood. From time to time, Leonardo feeds the charcoal kiln. This work involves opening it at the point where the fire is to add some logs. Then, Leonardo covers the fire again with straw and soil and compacts the surface with his feet. A good charcoal maker must know how to control the fire in the kiln, and the color of the smoke is a good indicator of its state. If all goes well, the weather is favorable, and the kiln burns regularly. Leonardo could be absent for short periods. But every 6 to 8 hours, this craftsman must feed the fire again and move the vents downward. The threats of bad weather on the first day of firing have disappeared, and the kiln is in full operation. The evening lights filtered through the smoke will give way to another night of vigil and fire control. At night, Leonardo has to attend to the kiln, just as he does during the day. It is a matter of waiting and communicating with the smoke, which, with its color and density, reveals the fire's situation and intensity at any given moment. Leonardo's concern every night is that the worst enemies of the charcoal kiln do not appear. The rain and the wind. The wind is worse than the rain. The wind blows through, and then you have to open it because the fire attacks vigorously. The ground is wet. If the ground is dry, it's different. But with the wet ground and wind, it's the worst. But the night is calm, and the fire burns normally. Dawn breaks over the Dehesas del Tajo, since the charcoal kiln is operating optimally. While controlling the firing and feeding the fire, our friend the charcoal maker has many free hours. Leonardo has decided to use this time to set up another small charcoal kiln nearby. Although only a few sacks of charcoal will be obtained, it will always be a small additional income for the family economy. 15 days of firing under the strict control and maintenance of our friend Leonardo have passed. Gradually, without haste, as is the norm for good charcoal makers, the woodpile has considerably reduced in volume as it carbonized. With the first light of the morning, it is time to extract the charcoal. Leonardo has to pay close attention to this task because there is still fire inside the kiln, and if it remains open for too long, the charcoal could burn. Using a scraper, Leonardo digs out the pieces of charcoal from ground level. Their characteristic shine and metallic sound are sufficient guarantees of a job well done. With a rake, José Manuel spreads the charcoal around the kiln to cool it. Several hours later, Leonardo and his son continue to extract charcoal, but slowly, as there is still fire inside, and if air gets in, it could ignite. If they leave it open for too long, the fire burns. You extract some, cover it, and the fire's breath is extinguished. Since the fire is still at the heart of the charcoal kiln, Leonardo cannot continue extracting charcoal because it could ignite. For another day, he will leave the remaining charcoal covered with soil until the fire has been consumed. With pitchforks, these charcoal makers separate the larger pieces from the smaller ones and, before packaging, ensure that it has cooled sufficiently and that there are no embers. Fire. When the charcoal has cooled and there is no risk of fire residues inside, it is time to bag it. The burlap sacks and esparto baskets have been replaced by plastic containers. From the 15,000 kilos of wood that Leonardo had piled in the charcoal kiln, about 5,000 kilos of excellent quality charcoal have been obtained. Leonardo, the charcoal maker, has all his production sold. Sometimes it is the Germans who buy the charcoal for their barbecues. Other times he uses it for his own consumption in the family hospitality business. No matter who the recipient of the charcoal is, Leonardo Bravo, a veteran charcoal maker from the Dehesas del Tajo, is clear that the high-quality charcoal he produces is the result of his vast experience.